Hello.
What's good, gentlemen?
We're listening in. We're locked in. We're trapped in the trenches. We never leave. Feeling good.
That's cute. I like how it does the little, when you start, does the little two taps of the beat, like a little drummer starting.
A little countdown.
The metronome.
Yeah, a little Apple Easter egg there.
I feel like I'm Sierra about to serenade a nigga. 1, 2, 3, 4. That reminds me of just the concept of like getting ready for a performance in the booth. People always talk about getting ready for performances on stage. But I remember hearing this interview where she has like a really good relationship with her producer, and they were doing a sexual song, and she wasn't feeling it, or at least to his ear. Long story short, got her in the mood. She was, flicking the bean in the booth. She in the interview, she goes on to tell this story about to get herself in a certain mind state. She started gooning in the stew.
Isn't that what Mick Jagger and David Bowie were doing? Just
that's little prostate massage to get the vocal.
John Lennon and
vocal
Paul
cords.
McCartney too. They were doing that. Just a little JO sesh together.
A little JO sesh.
Get the creative juices
Acid
flowing.
and Jo.
Acid and JO.
Little acid, little Molly. It's gonna turn you gay anyway. It's gonna
Yeah.
you just start. It's not. It's just vibes. It's not really gay. It's just vibing out.
Yeah.
How
That's
you?
cra- Go ahead. No, you go ahead.
No, I was gonna go with just open-ended broad. I was just asking how you guys' vibes were for the day. Yours sounded more of a focused question. Where are you going?
I was just gonna jump straight into philosophy, like just thinking about how like times really haven't changed. Like you have those stories of artists and their escapades, and it seems like under wraps, and now it's just the same thing going on, but not as covert. I think it's just more, certain things are more acceptable, more profitable, not even more acceptable. I think things that have become accepted more is due to it, like niggas figuring out how to make money off of it.
That's why we need Kendrick for the cultural reset.
Mm-hmm.
But that is a serious point though that I was thinking of, like the whole, and us recording, the dust has kind of settled on the whole Drake Kendrick beef. But looking back,
Not necessarily. I think it just started. Like this shit, it's the catalyst to the summer.
I feel. But the point that I was gonna make is I feel like the platform that Kendrick Lamar stands on, the points that he's making, it almost just feels like a cultural reset with where morals should be. Like even just listening to why am I always blanking? The second track on Mr. Morale in the Big Steppers,
N95?
N95. Why do I always
That shit
blank
is
it?
hard. That's my
But
favorite track.
Just that whole
Take out the
taking and stripping your ego, stripping the jewelry, the clothes, what gives you clout and status, and sort of seeing past that. And I feel like you could just listening to that, because I was just listening to it just on my drive today, just from top to bottom, and you can kind of get tidbits of
him talking directly to Drake.
not even just that, but just really like the greater philosophy of just not just the rap game, but just human nature of putting on to be something that you're not.
I think that's the biggest thing with this whole beef is that it's not even like people think Kendrick, like in the song Drake said, "I know you got a picture of me when y'all cooking up." Like, no, it's not personal. And I think
Drake said that. I
Yeah.
never listened to any of his entries in this.
that was one of his lyrics, and I think that's Drake's fault, and part of the reason why he fell was how he takes everything so personal his whole career. And what's beautiful about what Kendrick was doing is that it felt like you were saying, it's not, Drake is the embodiment of that type of facade, or putting so much value in certain things that make you feel empty. And then like you would talk about with our own conversation on like my issues, indulgence is a never-ending pit. And like it's like Drake has to even realize that you can always make more money, you can always fuck more bitches, but Kendrick is shining that light on we idolize Drake for that reason.
According to R-Drizzy, Drake won. He's on the top, they say that for the things that you're talking about, they look at his streaming numbers, those stats, money, all those things, and say, well, I mean, blah blah blah. So you set the record of 1 billion streams or whatnot. And you won. So it's interesting to see the mental gymnastics.
I had to unfriend a nigga from high school because I saw he had made a post about, he said, "Yeah, Kendrick has the number one song of the summer, but Drake's been running the game for the last 15 years." And I'm like, dude, I don't, nigga. I wish I didn't even have memories of you. My nigga.
Even it just bleeding out into random facets of my interest that I wouldn't expect. Like there was this vintage pro wrestling merch vendor on Instagram, just collects like real vintage WWF merch, WCW merch, ECW, all the good stuff. And I think because he ended up deleting it, so I only saw it for like 30 minutes or whatnot, but he had like added Metro Boomin for like Metro Boomin was wearing like a Monday Night Raw's War vintage shirt, but he was calling him out because it like wasn't like a true vintage shirt, and was just saying like, we gotta air that, we good, just a little band-aid on the audio there.
That was the ghost of the Trump assassin.
I thought you were gonna say that was the ghost of Drake's career coming in and haunting the. It's like, you know how you play like a Led Zeppelin album backwards. You know, you get, you know, My Sweet Satan. Dude. Play Always Remember backwards, and you're gonna get some secret messages in there.
Fucking, what happened to Ebony Prince, bro? Where's Ebony Prince? And when the world needed him most, he vanished.
Fill me in.
Ebony Prince,
who is it?
The Twitter account who literally had the Meet the Grams cover art in his possession.
Oh,
and was giving those cryptic tweets, posted the picture of Drake in the hotel lobby. Wild shit.
Y'all think I'm trying to call around and get dirt on, nigga? Y'all think my life is rap? That's how shit. I got a son to raise.
Yeah, it's beautiful, but I think we needed it. Like you said, a cultural reset. It was so fun. I think we got to live through like
culture with a K for Kendrick. It's a cultural reset.
Such a monumental moment in his hip hop. Like, motherfuckers remember where they were when JFK got shot. I remember where I was when Meet the Grams dropped.
The bowling alley bar, pool room, PSM headquarters.
Oh God, that's funny. So Midwest. Bowling alley's our HQ. Yeah, she's a South Bend 5, but a bowling alley 10.
One of my favorite terms to use is like an Elkhart 7.
Okay, that sounds bad.
Or being like, yo, she's the hottest shorty in Niles.
You fill the fuck out them Cookie Monster sweatpants, girl.
Yeah, I remember when we were in...
and she gets a swisher and turns me off.
You called a woman Dewajak thick.
Oh, I'm laughing at the context how he said woman.
I wasn't aware of this. I'm not here at the situation.
Well, we'll talk about that off pod. That was funny as fuck. You're funny.
I think we can put 2 and 2 together. What the context is here.
No,
that's funny.
Yeah, next subject. The fucking Kendrick. No,
you said pass. No, but I was gonna say I find it funny how what I love about a podcast is super localized references. Like just hearing like Deezus and Mero bring up a random spot in the Bronx that nobody outside of the Bronx is gonna know of. I just dropping Dewajak deep cuts here.
Yeah,
deep cuts.
I just got a pizza from Hall's Kitchen. What you guys know about that?
Shout out, what's his name? Who left?
Ryan Hall,
the trader, apparently.
Yeah, fucking envisionary entrepreneur.
No, yeah,
trying to get brought down by the John.
That's actually a
Papa.
very like inspirational story. Like working at this place, saving your money, and then it's starting your own business in the same field. But you know,
definitely, it's a super inspirational story, and I'm not gonna tell it because I don't care. But
unfortunately, not to shit on this guy's parade though, because it's like I think like he bought like a Bourbon Street pizza, like one location, and then redid it to
rebranded.
Halls. Yeah, but I feel out just seeing online like there's some people were just like, no, I liked it better as per. I don't know. I'm not trying to give any bad.
Tasted better when the name was different.
I support all 574 business ventures.
Definitely. It's hard to start your own business, and that's what's so tough about like it's every generation, but specifically in my age group, looking at like not a whole generation lower, but just like I almost look at like every 4 years as a generation almost too, because like every 4 years you have different people graduating from high school who had started high school. So I think like when you look at these younger eras, it's like they don't fucking know how the shit works. Like, so many people want to be entrepreneurs, so many people want to start a business, and it's so much more harder than like filming a 5-second Instagram thing, making an account, and putting business in blue in the bio. Like, it's so much more layers, man.
It's a double-edged sword, the age of direct to consumer content. Like, the fact that we're all empowered to just be content creators is a fantastic, brave new world. But at the same time, there's going to be a lot of oversaturation of, people not really trying as hard just because it's, everybody wants their own platform. Wink, wink, starting a podcast. Everybody wants, it's the eye, but
It does
unless you're good
force you to
enough-
be more creative because, like, I come from a time where you could just post a track to SoundCloud and in 2 weeks, like, you got labels knocking on your door. That happened so many times in this era where I was, like, using SoundCloud. I can't even imagine trying to just start fresh now in this time period where it's just like, okay, I want to make music. Immediately you're thinking about DSPs. Immediately you're thinking about major streaming platforms. Like, immediately you're thinking about all these things like, okay, I need to make sure that the first 15 seconds sounds like this because the first 15 seconds is what comes up on a TikTok preview and an Instagram story. Like, all these factors before you could just make, you didn't even have to worry about mixing. Just like, yo, it's
like-
having fun.
It's like, I know I Love McConan didn't care about mixing.
Or songwriting. He's gotten much better over time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was
Maybe.
listening to, I'm trying to
Yeah, I
think.
still prefer like that older era.
I was trying to think what Lil B song it was. I think it's on Pink Flame, but the ending of it is him just saying like, he's like, yo, I got like blah, blah, blah amount of free songs. Just go to my website, click like the top button on the corner, scroll down to this and then click. But he's like, it's mixed into the song. So like the last thing he says is like, and then click this and then it like kind of echoes out. So it's like him giving you a step-by-step instruction to his website in the prose of music.
But knowing Lil B, it was just because like he just recorded another track and left like all those plugins on from his main rap track. Like, that's all it was.
What's your guys' favorite Lil B memory? That was your guys' era. I came after and
Probably coming. Do
and
you remember?
studied under the tree of Lil B. I discovered the scrolls. Like I just went into the cave and I was like, these are the Lil B scrolls. This is before my time. Let me.
This land was inhabited before by the task force.
Yeah, I'll never forget. I do want to get your guys'.
Do you remember coming back from the mall and Anthony's Whip blasting Lil B and like there was this family driving next to us and like that was part of what we would do was just like drive around with the windows down, like blasting, the most ignorant thing we could find.
And also, just a little PSA here, a PSA for PSM, the family, 4 brothers actually, but on the mic right now, 3 brothers. There's that age difference here, so that's why, just to give context for any viewer, when I'm like, yo, your guys' high school era, what was the Lil B memories like?
I think it was just fun watching his music videos. Like, I love that video where he is in a convenience store and at the end of the video he starts crying and he's just like tearing up and he's like, oh, that's that real music, man. Like, there's a lot of good moments in his videos. And then I also remember like he was still dropping mixtapes at that time, and I remember being in high school when he dropped Oh 05 Fuck 'Em, and I was like, dude, this is like 100 tracks. Like, this is
That was so
crazy.
fun.
And then I also remember one time in English class, like, I think we had to do some sort of like creative writing assignment or something, but I made up a story of like being in LA and just like hanging out with Lil B for a day, like just going to the skate park, just like some stupid shit. But yeah, it was, yeah, youthful time. It was fun.
I need that in an audiobook. You got to dig that up in a see if you can find
Yeah, I
that
don't-
assignment. That's fun. Yeah, that video of him crying, I remember, I don't know who said it, but because none of you guys remembered who said it. I remember saying it, but someone was like, yo, why he's got gas station earrings on? And I think of that every time I'm in the gas station and I look over to the little jewelry rack and I'm like, damn,
Those
get oxidized in your skin.
Lil B earrings, You know,
Lil B earrings. Also,
like
yeah.
a surgical steel, surgical nickel.
And he started based Vans. Like, I always liked having like some dirty, like beat up shoes, like some old Converse or something. But having based Vans is it is a look, and it's sad that based has been like co-opted into like a political term now.
But I agree. It sucks because it's like, man, y'all don't even know. Y'all not even giving your thanks. Y'all not even writing on your feet. But it's interesting, like the etymology,
feet pics.
the etymology of based. Like present day based is used mainly in what, like right wing social media.
Yeah.
And they're seeing someone like go against a status quo, and then they're like, oh, they're based. You know, someone says fucking the F word. Like, oh, based. Like, if a comedian says faggot on the mic, they're like, oh, based. Like, he's not scared. Think about Lil B. Like, what the fuck was he doing? What the fuck was he saying with his lyrics back then? This nigga was like, I'll catch a case. Like, I'll catch a domestic violence case. Like, that's literally the lyric. He is the based god. I don't know. It kind of makes sense.
Interesting. Yeah, the philosophy of what being based is truly is. Yeah, no, there's I feel like there's a
Like, the base god was truly a piece of shit. Beating women, robbing people, selling, whipping, serving Jerry. You know? He was the based god. So I almost feel like going against what is the moral norm could be considered based.
I thought he preached love and peace and positivity.
That was Lil B. This is the bass god.
I guess, hey, educate me, man. Before I wasn't there. I wasn't listening to Pink Flame when it dropped.
Both sides of the same coin.
I do remember.
It's Lil B, the bass god.
Lil B the bass god.
Is it Dr. Jekyll
Bass
in,
World.
Mr. Hyde? Nah, but I do remember when all of his stuff dropped on Spotify, maybe in like 2018, 2019, he just released like his whole catalog to Spotify. It was back when you would save an album, it would add all of it to your liked songs. It doesn't do that anymore. You save an album, it just saves the album. You like songs individually. Then it used to do that. So I was just going through and just like saving all Lil B's albums, and it was those 100-track albums. So I remember my algorithm was flooded with Lil B because I had like
a million songs.
It was ridiculous. So I remember like looking at 3 daily mixes, and they all had Lil B in them. So I had to
one
go through.
One was TYBG, one was Lil B Essentials, and the other one was Based World.
Yeah, I had to go through and not even just on my phone, but on desktop, because on phone to unlike it, you have to click the 3 dots, hit unlike. It was a long process. So I needed to just a streamlined way to just click, and unlike all of this just to clean out my algorithm. It was
Wild.
some shit.
Could have made some money making an AI tool. Auto unlike
That's a good man.
or
And
auto like. I don't know.
I'm still shitty I never got that follow, because for those unaware, Lil B, like what? 1 million followers, follows 1.2 million people. The ratio is ridiculous. And never got a follow from him. So I embarked on a campaign back in 2019. Tweeted every single day. I definitely forgot some days, but I would like keep up with it. So let's say it's like day 287 and I forget day 288. I will remember it, and then just the next tweet is day 289. Now, I keep up with the dates even if I miss some, but I tweeted him with an asterisk every single day of 2019. That was like day 1 of Lil B, at Lil B the Bass God, not following me. But I would, add a little something to kind of, make it sweet, make it personalized, because you start running out of ideas. So it's like, it's fucking 365 days in a year. And he would reply.
He was teasing you.
He was teasing me. He would
He'd be like, almost.
That's what he would say. He'd be like, almost there. Maybe one day. Keep believing. I believe in you. You're base. He would be like, much love.
in you. It's not up to him.
He would retweet it as well. Like, retweet. Other people would start seeing it and liking it, and never got the follow. So honestly, I take more pride in that because I got more engagement out of it. Got
That's
more
true.
interaction, but I never got that follow.
One of these days, I'm gonna DM him back and actually give a budget, because he'll DM like everybody.
Oh,
be
and
like,
so-
what's your budget? Let's work.
Want to know something funny? Home Alone, he actually, back in 2019, he DM'd Lil B on Twitter. It was like, yo, follow my homie Source. He sent me a message like maybe a handful of months ago, earlier this year, just like, yeah, I DM'd Lil B like 5 years ago. He just replied, and he sent me the screenshot, and it was just like, yo, much, the classic Lil B, or it's copy and pasted text, where he's just like, Mo, much love. If you want to work, hit me up. Here's my email. Here's my,
Dash Lil B.
Yeah.
So if you guys need his contact, got it. Probably don't have to try that hard. You could ask him for it. He'd give it to you.
Hey, 100,000 unsigned.
Saw a dead body today.
Okay.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. You just see the family group chat?
No.
Got to turn that baby on. I have
You a follower of 574 Nosy Neighbors?
Actually,
No, I
I
don't use
broke the
Facebook.
story.
You did.
I broke because I gave
did.
it to the old Madre, and she posted it. And yeah, so it was crazy. I was just driving, at work, coming down, and I see what looks to be a body bag in the field, and a stretcher, and men with gloves transitioning this body bag onto this stretcher here. And I'm like trying to get a picture. Green light, left turn. I'm like, trying to, so it's not the best. Cause I was like, am I seeing what I'm actually seeing? Cause it was like on by the student housing of IUSB. So it was the IUSB police. It wasn't like
on campus.
It was technically on campus
It
because
was on
it's
the
like,
property.
That's crazy.
cause I'll just dox the shit. Like River Drive, Titan Drive, that shit, that light turning into, it's right there on the right-hand side in that grass area. There was a body bag there, and let me just
He
right
killed somebody over a
Yeah.
vape and some White Claws.
Bro jumped off the party bus and landed in fentanyl fields.
Yeah, so as you can see right there,
Wow.
describe what you're seeing to the audience here.
Looks like two men with a body bag
Yeah,
in a field.
right? And there was no yellow tape, there was no sirens.
There's no crime scene.
There was nothing like that. And it's like,
Must have been a minority.
had to have been here because and what was crazy, because all throughout the day I'm checking up on all the publications. I'm not hearing any
That nigga
postings
was
about
homeless.
this. That's what I was thinking, because so when mom posted it to the Nosy Neighbors group page, people were saying how someone was like, yeah, I drove by like 7 a.m. or something. I saw somebody unresponsive next to like a bike, and I was saying, you better feel guilty because you could have made a difference in this person's life. I think they said they didn't think anything of it or something.
They were overdosing.
That's what my theory is that they were like a homeless person, because I see like they always bike around. They're off
I guess
the
someone
vent.
threw out that it was listed as cardiac arrest.
That's what the dispatch was for the scanner. So if like, let's say you're police, you respond to the scene, you're gonna say, hey, I got a cardiac. You're not gonna know like, hey, I got a. You're just gonna.
Niggas in fentanyl fields.
All,
right?
all I know is his heart's not working, which is cardiac arrest.
I just took a
'cause that's the
CPR
same
class.
That's
I
the-
could have helped.
That's the same thing they said for Michael Jackson. That's how he died, cardiac arrest from fucking drugs.
Okay.
I remember remember the day Michael Jackson
Cardiac
died.
arrest. No,
That doesn't even make any.
fucking around.
Oh man, where were you guys the day Michael Jackson died?
Dude, I was watching
I was at home.
Channel E.
I remember
Like,
you came into the room. I remember. Sorry, I asked you guys, and then I started giving.
You're
my
like,
perspective.
oh, where were you? In fact, I remember where you were at. You were
Wait, let me tell you where you were at. But go ahead, tell your side of the story, because maybe
side of the story. Well, it started in '95, but fucking I remember I never witnessed an incident where it was like classic news reporting, like Justin breaking news, and it like cuts the program you're watching.
Oh, I saw that shit on SpongeBob with the fish coming in with the tie.
Yeah, that shit. Dun, 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 dun.
Yeah.
But fucking yeah.
Evil.
E News fucking said the King of Pop is dead. Shit was crazy.
But I remember standing in the living room and you coming in and being like, guys, Michael Jackson died. And you're like, turn the channel.
Yeah, I remember Mom's reaction. That's the only thing I remember from the finding out he died was Mom's reaction, like just doing dishes and like, what? Because it is crazy, because, it's different than, I think, Hollywood in the past, where you had, like, if someone were to die, it's like the coverage truly reflected their popularity, versus now you're seeing, like, motherfuckers dying left and right. So when
We're a
someone
little more
fucking dies,
desensitized
it's like,
to
okay,
death.
yeah.
And even at that time, it's like, the greats weren't really dropping like that now. Because now it's like,
Right.
okay, Prince is dead, David Bowie is dead.
Prince is dead.
Good callback. Oh man.
Imagine
Yeah,
being there when
Jesus
Kurt Cobain
Samaro
died.
is dead.
Oh man, that one hurts.
You said
that
what?
One hurts. You gotta let
Imagine
that
like being a teenager, like when Kurt Cobain died, and you watch that MTV report, and it's like a self-inflicted shotgun blast to the head. Like that'd be gnarly.
go. I see why all
Crazy.
those fucking dirty ass grunge kids were crying next to those vigils.
I bet that shit
Yeah.
stunk.
The fucking Kurt Cobain vigil stunk.
People like nodding out.
Motherfuckers, the greasiest hair. Like, yeah.
I can't wait till new metal takes over. Fucking
Yuck.
yeah, does a Korn fan smell better than a what's it? Yeah, because what's the other Alice in Chains? They were the other contemporary grunge band
Yeah.
that kind of takes. Because I know there's a whole field of people out there that's like Alice in Chains over Nirvana. Who,
Yeah.
Eddie Vedder, who's he? Was he
He's from Pearl Jam.
Pearl Jam too? I know there's a lot of Pearl Jam fans out
Like
there.
Soundgarden, that was another big one.
I just hear this shit through Home Alone. Those times I'm with them, white people play Pearl Jam, stuff like that. But
Even flow.
That's 90s.
Bro, did you know that Pearl Jam is a euphemism for ejaculate?
No.
You didn't put that
Is that
together?
a fan theory?
I think it's an actual.
It would make more sense
I
if it
think
was like female ejaculate. You know? Pearls are in clams.
Yeah, it's the.
I've never thought of my cockhead as a pearl.
I guess that maybe just they're both being zygotes. You know,
Zygotes.
And jam is like the
zygotes?
opposite of.
Let me take y'all back to
ejaculate.
7th grade science. A zygote is like the term for both an egg and a sperm. They're genetic material that can lead to procreation. A zygote.
Okay.
So an egg is a zygote. A sperm is a zygote.
They're
There's just
woke.
two.
They're non-binary. They're not of the patriarchy.
Yeah.
I see.
Because I was trying to tie that in. I was like, but I don't get the connection.
They are neither man nor female. They are free to express themselves in whatever realm
there's
they
two.
do. Okay, bigot. Slam.
Yeah.
Shit.
Oh, speaking of big, I saw a midget wrestling promotion.
Speaking of it, what are those little things up to?
Oh man, they're getting down into some wrestling. Yeah, micro slam wrestling, based out of Pigeon Forge, Tennessee. Came to the old
Micro Slam.
574.
Just call
Came
it
to the old
midget.
South Bend. Yeah, well, it does. I think they have that in the subtitle, the subheading. It's like micro slam wrestling midget, like the
Midget Night Raw.
the merch that I got.
So they're reclaiming midget?
I think they are. I believe the midget community prefers the term midget. I think there's I've heard a lot of just, I don't know any, but I've just gotten some wind that it's one of those things that they're not like really pushing for.
Gotta be careful. There's little people. Little people. It doesn't matter what the group, how they identify themselves. It only matters about how we feel about them. And I feel better if I say little people.
It sounds cute. Sounds like a toy. I think that is an actual toy. Little people. It's like a children's toy. I only know that from working in retail. but
Yeah, little people. I don't know. I feel that way about the word homeless. Like, why say
You mean an
unhoused?
unhoused person?
Exactly. Like,
You-
there's no
you mean-
emotional connection to it.
You mean residentially challenged?
A hobo? A bum?
Fucking bum.
Oh my god, you mean infrastructurally lacking?
Infrastructurally lacking.
The financially unfortunate?
Yeah, I just think verbiage is important when you're trying to like have a cause.
I'm poor curious. Sometimes I wake up and I feel like not having a job, but I don't know. I just kind of tuck it in, hold it down.
That's so funny. If you call off work, you're just exploring. You're just experimenting. Oh shit.
Yeah, but I feel like we've danced around a bit like that philosophy of like where the culture is, but the point that is always on. Yeah, Daniel Tosh, man, that was insane. He was like never heard a more white rendition of a rap song.
I'm what the culture's feeling.
I'm what the five. I can't even do it. It was so like you said, he takes like two different two different songs, right? He takes Not Like Us and Euphoria. And starts to put them.
Yeah. Good. Dude.
Wop wop wop. That's what that was. And just like obviously, I could. He knows nothing about what's going on, but he was like, Team Kendrick.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Strong intuition.
Yeah, but
What were you saying? We're dancing around what?
no, I was gonna say.
What are we dancing? Because we don't dance around here.
I have this
Okay.
long.
We get straight to the fucking point.
just like Kendrick said, stop tap dancing around the conversation. We cry together. But which is just such a clever point, like having the tap dancing being a part of the beat and it also going with the message of the song. Just good old fashioned music making,
Good
right?
art.
Just
Good
God
art.
damn.
That don't got nothing on Hard Part 6, though.
Oh Jesus, yeah. I'm a what the fuck is that one album?
You'd be a willing competitor if I was really a predator. Someone made a good point. He was like, he didn't even, if you look at the lyrics and listen to the song, the last thing he says is the word like. What did he say where he was like, oh God, I can't remember exactly what he says, but he was just like, and my shit is all facts. So tell me when you're trying to get to that. Like, and someone's
That's
just
what
like,
you
he just
said.
gives up.
That's what you say when you're lying.
Nigga gives up at the end of that song. Said like.
I called from a million miles away that when Kendrick said, "We don't want to hear you say nigga no more," that he would begin his next song with nigga, like just to like
Nigga.
It's like I got you. I was like, dude, this is corn, man. This is
And he
starch.
says it a lot. If you listen to that song, The Family Matters, he says nigga a lot. And he even the rhyme scheme, man, just so bad. And we fed you the information. Something, 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 a celebration. Then there's something, a dedication. Nigga was on Rhyme Zone.
He's with fucking working with Pierre on that.
At least Pierre's is fun.
Yeah, stacking money like paper.
Yeah,
The fuck,
like,
just that shit.
he's doing the same
What's
thing.
your
with
favorite
his
Pierre line?
I had to take a second to think about that.
Sorry, I put you on the spot.
We were just outside like a fence.
So he has one that's funny on System where he says, what is it?
Be my chicken tender.
Yeah, he says like, come get fried like my little baby, come get fried like my little chicken tender. Or he also says, he uses like the Tennessee line where it's like,
Oh yeah.
like you're the only.
Yeah, he says, Nashville,
You're the only 10 I see.
I'm like, come
Yeah.
on. What are we doing? Stacking all this paper like I'm getting bored in school.
That's hard.
Yeah.
That's fucking hard.
But I'm only mentioning that because he has another line about stacking paper. Like, what do you say? Stacking this paper like fill out forms? That's the
yeah.
one.
Yeah.
That's the one that's not good. Like, fill out forms?
Like, what's a fill out
A
form?
W-2?
Like all forms?
Like, what?
Any type of paperwork.
you fill it all out.
Stacking this paper like fill out form. Peer porn. Was he really in the strip club? 16, no ID? With killers? Free my G? Also, who's his, oh man, who's the
Who's
guy?
falling asleep in the drive-thru?
Off the Zans. I like the rollerblade one. Where he says, rollerblade, I'm outside. Oh, wait, no, I'm mixing up the lines. He says, I'm on stage, she's outside. No, he says, rollerblade, stay on my grind. Yeah, that's a good one.
Or, girl, I'm rich, you're poor. Like, that's...
Outside like a fence. That's crazy, though.
Yeah.
Who's
You
that
could
one?
name any external thing.
So, yeah, fences, they are outside, you know?
I'm outside like a tree.
He has some
Outside
good
like
ones,
a
though, like,
house.
fucking...
Keep going. Outside like a fire hydrant.
outside like outside.
Outside like a curb.
Outside like a tree.
Outside like a mailbox.
I'm outside like the sun.
Outside like a car.
Speaking of sun,
Bitch, I'm outside like not inside.
he has one line. It's kind of I feel bad shitting on him, but it's like because there's a deceased close person to him that he shouts out multiple times. I don't know if
JP.
That's
Yeah.
the one. He calls him his sunshine though, which is a
Yeah.
little. I mean, come on now. Is your sunshine?
Nigga said, I miss my dead homie, pause.
Like,
Hey, he couldn't see with all those housing projects
like
blocking out
I
the
love
sun.
you, man, but I don't know if I'd call you my sunshine. I'd be like, man, but actually, nah, man, you
I
do.
thought you were gonna start going the racist route.
Nah, I was well. That's where his mind is at. That's not,
He was building the blocks.
well, I was just gonna say, actually, man, sometimes you say a joke that really just warms my day. And sometimes you are my sunshine, man. Just turn to the Jew Appreciation Hour.
JUI. That's what we're talking about.
Off. He's
To the audience.
He's the pod father.
Yeah, JUI.
Off mic.
So if you hear us talking about Jews, we're just talking about a friend.
The PS. So PSM origin story. How did you? What was your first interaction with Jaleel, Pink Stink Mafia? A little history lesson here.
Yeah, we're definitely coming in blind because I feel like anyone who's following
That's why I'm trying to
PSM,
sprinkle in some context here and there.
yeah, some lore. Anyone
Because
who's
I'm not trying to be like, let's just introduce ourselves, guys. I'm me. You know, let's talk. Let's pass the talking pillow around. Introduce ourselves and what we do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
will
was-
learn who we are over the if you really fuck with us and still stay till episode 2, which you should.
for sure. This is just the pilot. In episode 2, we're bringing down the buildings. Okay. Episode 2, we're taking down the towers.
We're taking down Tower 7 in episode 3.
I'm shooting that missile right into the Pentagon. But nah, fucking anyone who has followed PSM for a while knows the little family. But I think there are people who have recently started to like our art and might not know, like, y'all didn't go to fucking high school with me and Jaleel. So fucking the first interaction that I can really remember like clearly is just linking up on the weekends, you know? And honestly, it was Jaleel that first made me want to take creativity seriously just off the vibes of having a good time. So it's like, I'm over here writing raps, not caring about it, but to see this nigga go out and rap in front of people after school or just make people laugh with a freestyle, that became addicting, like making people feel good with your art. So I think that's why I remember those specific times, like you rapping your Bees in the Trap cover, because I have that emotional attachment where I was like, oh, that's the first time like this shit can be, I care about this. I care about making good content to make people feel good.
That's beautiful. I do remember the early Pink Stink Mafia days being like in middle school and having the cards and just like giving them out at like Marshall and shit. Just like, yo. Because it was cool. It was like, yo, this is what the older bros are doing, making music and shit. Like, yo, what you guys. I do remember there was one. I could have swore there was maybe it was like my art teacher or something. Like one time where I told a teacher, I was like, yo, you should go to the Pink Stink YouTube channel, the OG, the Pink Stink YouTube channel. And one of your earlier music videos like had one of my teachers playing. So always keeping it on brand since day one.
For sure. Do you have like a defining moment that like you felt like PSM became a home more than just like a random collective of links?
I think that just took time in high school because I remember just like hanging out with you, Jaleel, and Anthony, like my freshman year, just hanging around. But it was later, just over the next couple of years, even after like when me and Jaleel worked together, when we had a summer job together, that was like when we became friends more. And yeah, so I think it was just like over a couple of years of just like the friendships developing and just hanging out more that I felt like they were like Jaleel was more my friend too than just like, oh, I'm just like hanging out with my brother and his friends and feeling more part of like an actual group. So yeah. So probably around like sophomore, junior year, I would say.
We're just all a big old family.
When was that paradigm moment when it's like, okay, let's mature the brand and transition Pink Stink Mafia to people saving minds?
That's another thing too. And anyone who's listening to this right now, I guarantee you probably don't even know Pink Stink Mafia, whatever the fuck it was. But that was PSM before fucking psychedelics. Like the first shroom trips And on top of that, naturally growing up and seeing where like media is heading and where you want your media to go, you don't want to be lumped in. It's almost similar to like when WGKTA,
I was
went
just
to
gonna say,
the
it's almost
floor.
a reaction to, or not a reaction, but a reflection of that time of like the brashness of youth. And the
Yes.
sort of the creative juices you feel with that of like, yo, I'm breaking the rules. There's this vulgarity to the double entendre to the name and everything. So I see that.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I always remember Mr. Story saying like, "You guys are gonna have to change that one day," like the Pink Stink Mafia, and he was right. It did happen, and you can see that even like what you're saying with Tyler and like LaFleur, and even his handle too. Like, fuck Tyler was his handle for years, and then he just changed it to Tyler Creator. So yeah, like kind of growing out of like what you're saying, that youth brashness, that sort of adolescent humor, just making something more serious and less of a joke.
Yeah, and there's still room for that. Like that energy
Yeah.
can still be there. I'm sure like behind closed doors or in the studio with Tyler, he's still like he's still that brash, crazy nigga, but it's not like exposed to the extent that it was. And there's a time and place for it. Like if you're having a podcast episode, like I don't think going off the rails is that insane as long as it's not like what you're identifying with,
If you're not relying on like shock humor as your thing.
Yeah.
It's sort of just you have these spontaneous moments, but
You can't just want to say faggot nigger for no reason.
And
If you want to say faggot nigger, you're gonna have to have like a real reason on why you want to say faggot nigger.
and speak, they pull a
Trevor Moore.
pull the DX when they were saying the words that they can't say when USA Network tells them they can't say that, so they say that and they read it verbatim as kind of a tongue in cheek. But I was gonna say, kind of speaking on that, you can sense this pain. I was listening to Goblin just the other day, like the song Goblin, and just like the part when he says, like, it's kind of towards the end, he says, "I'm a liar, I'm a faggot," and I was just listening to that, I'm like, that's very sad. Like, obviously knowing who Tyler is, you're not getting that now. It's obviously he used the word faggot, but like that one line where he's calling himself that, "I'm a liar, I'm a faggot," I was like, it made me sad. I was like, you can hear the pain in this kid's voice. But so it's like you can kind of there's depth.
I thought that was on Smuckers when he says that.
I'm
Because I think that when he says, "I'm a liar, I'm a faggot," and Lil
fucking
Wayne's
his
like,
golf ways.
"Oh, or maybe he says it was on Goblin as well."
I know what you're talking about. I do know what you're talking
Yeah.
about, but I'm probably mixing some of this up. But there's a part where he calls himself that, and it's you can see how that humor is entrenched in pain. So seamlessly transitions into, we're trying to save our own minds,
Most definitely.
saving others along the way with the art that we create. That's the goal. That's the message. Modus operandi.
Modus
PSM.
operandi.
Nothing more pretentious than Latin. Love that. Every writer loves good Latin.
I think that's
Drop that
what
in there.
gives the shield to certain types of criticism. If you're brash or raunchy, is if you have that depth. Like you look at South Park, still renewing contracts with Comedy Central, and that's only because of the depth that comes with that, like raunchiness. Similar to like Tyler the Creator, like nigga said, "Rape a pregnant bitch, tell my friends I had a threesome." But underneath that was context and depth. And it's funny because I just saw Craziest Lyrics of All Time.
I
a
saw
thread,
that
and that
on
was the
there,
first
yeah.
one. I was like, is it time? Like, has enough time passed? Are they this new generation who had no clue?
It's also funny how they had the genius quote of that, and it had like the current picture of Tyler with like the "Call Me If You Get Lost" fit on. I was like, it's funny. But
Wild.
if you, I don't know.
Wild. Yeah,
But,
it's crazy.
but
Yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was gonna kind of veer off here, but
Oh no, you can veer off.
Yeah, I was just
We're clocking in. We're at the 45-minute mark. So
okay. I was just gonna round it out with the point that I feel like I just wanted to, a point that it's just been thinking of like the temperature, the social climate of reactivity to certain things, ultra wokeness, political correctness, however you want to phrase it. I feel like I can see a lot of parallels to where we're going in this American society and the climate of the French Revolution, where you have this groundswell of emotion, and in the case of the French Revolution, you have a peasant class, you have a working class, you have a swath of people who legitimately have access to grind here. We got a little damn, this is the deep state interfering. FBI's like, yo, stop that.
Hold on one sec.
What's the little elevator music where it's like do 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 do, like, hold on, we'll be right back. You know that?
Like a bumper.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, let's get cozy. I like where you're going. Parallels between the current socio-economic or just social political state?
Just kind of, both, I guess, really. But what I'm getting at is you have a situation where there's true access to grind, true problems at hand here, and then in the case of the French Revolution, these voices that are rising in the spirit of revolution kind of get commandeered by ego and people who are using it for their own good and their own platform. So you have, like, there's true peasants who are starving while Marie Antoinette is, eating her bread. That is a true injustice. They have the right to rise up. But at the same time, you have people like Robespierre coming in and utilizing it to put their own agenda and kind of latching onto attacking the bourgeois class and attacking the status quo for justice and for this progressiveness. But really, just that was the reign of terror. They're just kind of like how any person who has some sort of differing like there are people like the Marie Antoinettes of the French Revolution are the Harvey Weinsteins of now, the people who are genuinely evil. You deserve to be taken out of the game.
Was
here.
that her character?
Pretty much, yeah.
She wasn't like someone of no.
You're gonna defend Marie Antoinette here?
I asked the fuck nigga.
I
sound like someone. I'm just asking a question.
I just know where you're going.
I'm just asking a question. No, I wanted to know who Marie Antoinette was, because I was gonna point, because when you said she's like the Harvey Weinsteins, I was thinking, were people of this bourgeoisie class, was there one of them who just fucking got born that way? Like his dad was just mad rich and he's not a bad person? Like that's kind of what I didn't know who Marie Antoinette was, so I didn't know if like she's in control of policies that are disparaging this lower working class, or if she just happened to be in the position that she's in. Because I assume like there's a lot of people that are in a family of evil people, but might not be evil themselves, but they're lumped in that group. So that's all. That's why.
That's true. I feel, because that kind of goes back to what we were saying earlier before the pod, how there could be people who could arrive at independently some progressive thoughts about like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be starving the public, even though I come from nobility and I can have a bit of the, as they used to say, the commoner's touch, and have that not be a put on, have some people actually genuinely think that way. But to just the kind of round out the point I was making is you have a situation where there is evil at hand. There is things that could be done differently, but then you have people who kind of bastardize the movement, and to modern climate, the corporations and all of the commercialized wokeness, where it's like there are, real problems at bay here, but it's people aren't asking for a black Little Mermaid. That's not it. So it's a distraction. That's the So that's the thing. It's like, so when you have that bullshit, it's starting to muddy the waters of where, genuine progressive thinking should be, where it's like now even progressive is a dirty word. And it's like in the case of the French Revolution, it was really just, ego, the I of, and you can see when somebody attacks a celebrity, when somebody is kind of, canceled or whatnot, having their platform taken away, or a comedian says something, as the, like for the, the Shane Gillis situation, for an example, hearing, other comedians, contemporary comedians talk about it, where they're like, a lot of these comedians who are attacking him are people who are kind of unsatisfied in their own position, or are not
Right.
those people who didn't make it. So now they see an opportunity, the blood in the water, and they jump on that. So you have that going on. And so that, unfortunately, is going to inspire that radicalism on one side is going to inspire that on the other side. So, and in the case of the French Revolution, it just, led back to a strong man, led back to Napoleon, an emperor. That's what made them feel comfortable. So it's unfortunate to see where things are, because it just gives ammunition to either side,
And I agree. I like that you brought up that analogy of like the ammunition at either side, or the extremists on one side influence the extreme on the other. And it made me think of this like visual interpretation, this shape that I can see in my head. Like imagine two blobs, and they're each like expanding at their ends on opposite sides, almost like a pendulum. One side gets bigger, and when one side is getting bigger, the other half of the blob is getting smaller, and then vice versa. One side gets bigger, the other half is getting smaller, and they're just sharing this energy back and forth between the two ends. And I'm wondering if like if you could look at all of human history and graph the point in time of where people at, of like extreme on this side and extreme on this side, and just watch human history in like a time lapse, I would almost assume that you see this like energy shifting from both sides. But because we're living in the moment, it's like everything's our point in that blob is unraveling like as we're experiencing time. So it's hard to like back up. And it's like when you're in the moment, you think that there can be a middle. Like you think that there can be this like perfect way of doing something, and you try, and we as a people, we implement these ideologies, and it's just that blob going back and forth. And maybe that can help with one's own detachment, is realizing like no true ideology could ever be like absolute, or even in the middle. I just gotta, the golden rule, and keep it pushing, guess that's all you can do.
Yeah, it goes back even just like simple economic policy, where it's like we're humans, we're tribalistic, we're mammals, so we want to pick a side. Okay, I subscribe to a liberal economic policy or conservative economic policy, but truly you need a balance of both, because it just goes by which way the wind is blowing. For instance, it's like, oh, okay, the grain isn't doing too well, the fields aren't doing too well, so we need to subsidize farmers this year. Okay, maybe we need some more federal government control to kind of pump some stimulation in, and maybe taxes will go up this year, but it's because these factors that have, maybe there's a war, maybe there's a bad drought, maybe there's a pandemic. That's why we're in a fucking inflation. That's why everything is fucked up. Groceries, gas prices, all that. And people are like, oh, who blame whoever, give credit or blame credit, or give credit or blame whoever is in office. Whoever it is, both sides, love them or hate them, you give credit, suck their dick, or hate them based off of what's happening. But it's really just math. It's really this economic beast. Have a pandemic, give away a bunch of money, you got to pay that back with taxes, and then the economy is going to go through a little bit of a recession, and then shit kind of levels out. They teach in an economics class the long-term debt cycle, the short-term debt cycle, but it's like sometimes you need more fiscal conservatism. Cut back on spending, that you can cut back on taxes, ease up on some of these businesses, and then they can increase some revenue when stock prices go up and it's a more bullish economy. Then you kind of put the reins back on. Shit goes bad, then you need some more federal. So it's like sometimes you need a bit of the left, sometimes you need a little bit of the right.
And that's what creates the conflict, because it's hard to, where's the balance point? Because I love that example with the farmers. And that's like one perspective. That's like one moving part with every single other moving part in every other sector, whether it be education or entertainment or the arts or social issues. Like all these things have these wants and agendas at different points in time, and they're all trying to make it happen now.
And Dan Carlin, the fucking goat, he made a great point where he said one of his professors in college, who I think he said he was German or something. I don't know. I don't remember what. I believe he was German, but he was like, "There's the thing about you Americans is that you guys." He was saying how in European nations you usually have you got the sizzle and the steak. You got the person who's doing the work. You have the bean counter, as they said, the person who's counting all the numbers, the accountant. You have the person who's actually running the government, doing all the boring shit, the logistical shit that shouldn't even be a partisan type of thing. You just have a guy who's doing the actual housekeeping of running the country, the quote bean counter. Because really, like I was just saying, sometimes it's not feel. The economy isn't about feelings. It's just whichever way the wind is blowing, numbers and shit. So you're saying you have that, and then you have your figurehead type person. So you have, I forget how they structured it, where it's like because you have like your prime minister and then like your I'm not familiar with but I forgot which one was the figurehead, but then you have the one who they're the person who are making the speeches, they're the one who are the ambassador, and they're the ones who are sort of the kind of face of things, and those are the people who you kind of give in to more human tribalism and party and the popularity contest of politics. But they're saying how it's kind of separate, and they know it's kind of separate, how you have the person who's doing more of the unglamorous work and then sort of the sexy face of the operation. And they're saying how in the United States, they're like, the way you guys do it is you guys have it together, and that's why nothing gets done, is because the people who are trying to write this policy, the people who are trying to govern the economy
Are the faces.
and it's this ego mudslinging. It's nothing's ever going to get done because it's just like we're going to block your bills that you're trying to pass. Okay, the tide has turned. Yeah, it's that's an interesting point.
Yeah, you got my tinfoil. I grabbed my tinfoil out of the cabinet and I'm pulling it out. I'm shaping a hat right now. Like when you said, like the economy is just how the wind blows, and my fucking conspiracy brain was just like, okay, hold up. What if I'm someone in control of large enough assets to where any ebb and flow of the economy affects me on a grand scale, I'm going to try my damn hardest to try to influence the wind. And then I just started thinking about the pandemic, and I was just like, man, shit, nigga. There has to be some winners from that whole scenario. I don't know if everything, like how the pandemic was handled. I don't know if every action was what other people's Occam razor is, it was best for the people. It was to keep us safe and healthy. That's it. That's the only reason why all these things happened, was so we could be healthy. Doubt it. Doubt it.
Yeah, I feel like if we're really trying to, I thought we were talking about like my Occam's razor was like the start of it, where it's like, okay, in most, like there's many scholars who are just like, yeah, like definitely there was, the whole gain of function research and the lab leaks and everything. I look at it more as like, it's a bit of both, where it's like, okay, there is things they're hiding.
Completely natural.
I feel like it's a mixture
natural.
of like, okay, there was a research facility going on. You're doing some of these experiments. You have one small microscopic slip up, and this domino effect falls of this spread of this new
I wouldn't
disease.
even say that's considered widely accepted, though.
I'm not going to say widely accepted. I think there's this, but besides the point is, I would say I have more faith in something where it's a little bit of that, where it's like, okay, there's more to the story that they're hiding, but it's not like, okay, it was also one guy sitting in a chair thinking, how can I create this to influence the economy so my stock price goes up?
No,
I don't think it's that. It's more so like,
I think
I
it
can
was
see it just being a
huge
whoopsie.
collaboration.
It's a big whoopsie that they're like, let's distance ourselves from this whoopsie.
I think
China.
it's similar to when you brought up the French Revolution, that one guy who was going against the bourgeoisie. It's not like he genuinely was believing that cause, he was capitalizing on something happening. Maybe there was an oopsie, and it wasn't like, oh, we're gonna leak this, and then we're gonna do this. Like maybe there was this leak. Whoever's in charge of this facility and all their donors were aware first before any of the public. And maybe there was a capital, people capitalizing what was going on.
That's my source commission report, like the Warren report after JFK. The source commission report of the pandemic is whoopsie. Just all the big whoopsie.
Yeah. It's crazy. I mean, everybody sits and, has their own moral standing and whatnot, but similar to that, like, experiment after World War II where they were asking, like, what happened in Germany? Could that happen, like, somewhere in the could that happen in the United States?
Talking about the was that Yale or Harvard with the torture, the buzzer, all that jazz.
I can't remember the college, but I'm over here saying, like, bro, if I got a text and was just like, yo, we're fucking killing Donald Trump tomorrow, like, pull out your stocks, I'm pulling out my fucking stocks. Yeah. I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh, those people are so crazy, so evil. Nigga, I'd fucking do the same shit for the bag. That's all I have to say.
Don't let the NSA hear that.
Oh shit. Oh no. Give me prop up my music. Make me the next Drake.
That was
mean
hilarious.
A lifelong $400 million deal.
That was hilarious. And Mom was just like, I don't know if you were there, if it was just us, where she was just like, yeah, like you could corrupt me if I was a politician for $10,000 in a Ford Fusion. it was like the most basic ask.
Which I guess, like, glad we live in a world of yin and yang. We can look at how money has ruined our political infrastructure, but at the same time, you kind of I'm glad it's only this bad. If you got someone who has a great standard of living and they're like, yeah, I'd fucking do evil shit for 10 bands in a Ford Fusion, I'm sure a lot of people think that way. A lot of people would get twisted for a lot less. So I guess maybe we do live in this muddy ass world of corruption, but I guess it could be a lot worse.
I would almost think the opposite, where it's like, damn, like shit's that bad that like, yo, 10, like a Ford Fusion, like that's just standard.
But what's funny? I mean, I'm sure a lot of people are like that at first, and then that runs out, and then you just do it again. You do again. Like maybe that's the game loop of lobbying.
It's funny,
you just keep getting motherfuckers on the hook.
Getting into smoking some cigars and then like having a decanter, putting whiskey in it and shit. I was just like, man, I could see how an attorney general is being bribed by like the fucking Gambino or Lucchese, but just like, here's a case of cigars and a crate of whiskey. I'd be like, hey, this is actually kind of nice.
Whiskey.
And
do you want me to help you or kill me?
That's how they do it. That's how they corrupt you, because then they're
whiskey.
They're corrupting your mind. They know they got you.
Indeed.
They got you addicted to, not just ingratiated.
And that's why we're here to save minds.
What would you be bribed with?
Probably money, like anybody. Like specifically,
I thought you were going to say pussy, money, weed. Pussy, money, weed. Pussy, money, weed.
I don't know. It would depend on what I was trying to obtain to be bribed.
So legitimately, just money. I was almost thinking more, not to fault you for thinking more serious, because I did phrase it more serious, but I was because really just
you're
money.
At the most prestigious.
What
art
you bribed me
school.
with? Yeah, $10 million. Clearly, yeah. Maybe dudes, think about doing some fucked up shit, but I was just like, maybe like I already got you the Before trilogy on the Criterion Channel. I'm trying to think of like a good box set you don't have. Maybe they could bribe you with that. I don't know. Like
I could buy that myself.
Do you have got Spirited Away on Blu-ray?
I do.
Oh damn! All right, you got. I'm the mafia trying to bribe you. Like, what does this dude not have?
A Joann's gift card.
No, I don't.
No? A Michael's
membership to
gift card?
Joann's.
I'm trying to think of good. What Miyazaki films are you missing?
There's a lot. Studio Ghibli has a lot of films. So
You need to run for office. You're unbribable. Someone made a good point, though. He was reflecting on like the Trump presidency, and he was just like, it's interesting to see someone who had this temperament of like, you can't be lobbied, you can't be bought. I'm not going to accept this money, which is cool. But then he said, instead of being surrounded by lobbyists, his family members, they were going against them, or they were targeting them. So instead of like having the direct communication with the candidate and giving them money to do their bidding, they're going to the daughter's husband, and now he had political power, or they're going to someone in his cabinet. So it's interesting, like some way the people who have agendas are trying to get to you, so you can even be someone who's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to accept money.
Do you think he was being serious, Donald Trump?
Not,
you think his nobility was?
No, I don't think it was nobility. It's not nobility. It's not. I'm not
this
gonna.
Dude was like, nah, I'm not me.
No, not at all.
Me.
Most definitely not. It wasn't like
you're gonna have to get through my family first.
No, it wasn't.
Putting up this shield.
It wasn't like I'm not gonna accept money because it's wrong or I don't agree with your ideology, so I can't accept your money. It wasn't that. I think it's all ego. It's all I'm not gonna accept your money because then I have that over you. I think that's what it was.
But he's definitely accepting money, like from lobbyists and stuff. Think he's just funding himself.
I mean, he's funding a lot, but I'm saying like,
I mean, he's definitely, accepting a lot of money from
right
from donors.
I think it's all a game, and I like playing. I like playing the game a certain way, you know. So I think
I just want to burn it all down.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
No,
either
I'm not an anarchist. No, I feel but I get you. I'm not naive to the
people,
things, but I'm not going to. I don't know. I guess. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not.
I think it's okay. I think it's okay to like certain things, and not like other things. I don't think I'm not the proponent of like draining the swamp, or as the right say, or burning it all down with capitalism.
No, I'm not with that as well. And for like I said before, my philosophy, I'm very capitalist in terms of what I was just saying about how the economy runs and everything. I don't think Donald Trump is good for the United States of America. I'll put that on record, nor do I think Joseph Biden is. And I think I don't think we have to pick one or the other. I think we can hate both equally, my personal opinion.
I agree. But the world keeps turning. One of them niggas is going to get in there.
Unfortunately.
Yeah.
It's just the historical precedent that we're setting and how far our standards have fallen.
I see what you're saying.
In terms of just simple conversation, in terms of simple, like the debates, in terms of, because, in terms of just fucking talking, in terms of how people communicate here, there's not one. Did they discuss interest rates once? No. We don't talk about like the bean count, literally the point I was making, the bean counter stuff, the non-sexy stuff. Everything is all just posturing and ego and sizzle. Everything is all sizzle, character.
I agree, and I agree. Donald Trump,
just because he's not brain dead,
I agree with that.
Any better?
But it's unfortunate that I feel like a liberal administration, regardless of who it is gonna take us further down the path of not being able to talk. Like you even saying like, what happened to even just being able to have like healthy discourse with someone you don't agree with?
And I'm not saying that they're any better. That's my point is like, I don't think one is the answer over the other.
But
I feel like we have to.
Yeah, one is never the answer over the other. But that's like since 1776, it's like we have to pick one to take us to the next election. So it's like, yeah, I'm not saying like.
Weren't y'all the niggas who were saying if there was a war, you guys would just win it fight? Everyone was just like, nah, I would just like just not. Whereas now it's like you gotta pick a stance. You gotta fight for your country. You gotta pick one.
I don't think you have to. You don't have to pick a stance. I'm not identifying with the stance. I'm just like, look. I'm fucking hungry and I have 2 plates of food. I hate them both. I'm fucking gonna put one of them shits in my mouth. Like at some point, I might be able to push off the hunger for however many hours. But at some point, I'm about to put one of them shits in my mouth.
I'm drinking coffee.
You're gonna vote for a black Israelite?
A cup of enlightenment. I'm Kyrie Irving for president. Irving, who's his running mate? Halliburton. Fuck it.
And that's what adds to my point of like going to the middle, having something that even resembles normality or bipartisanship will never happen because there's 2 people on either side that got this fucking close and could not secure the nomination. On the left, you have Bernie Sanders. God damn. And the only people someone can blame for Bernie Sanders losing is the fucking left. That's what they did. And then on the right, you have Vivek Ramaswamy, who's essentially an Indian Bernie Sanders, but just listed as a conservative. Straight down the middle, same thing with Bernie. Got this mad close, and they're like, "Nah, we can't. We're not ready for that."
Another thing with Bernie Sanders, I feel like also a little bit of his own fault. I feel like the way he branded his style of economics as democratic socialism, I think is not good PR for the philosophy, because the term mixed capitalism, I think, is a more fitting term, and that's actually I learned that term in a textbook. It's a real term in school, mixed capitalism. But it's like you have the American system of the free market works with an asterisk. Of course, you walk down fucking Calvert Street, you're gonna see a lot of homelessness, the injustices, economic inequalities, all that good stuff about America, the American dream, blah blah blah, being a homeowner, how hard shit is. That's all there and whatnot. So there's more room to fight. There's more room for improvement on this grand system. But my point is that at the end of the day, capitalism, smoothest way of doing things. You have the system that can generate this immense wealth, but then what can you do with that wealth without too much government interference of like, okay, let's cap things and then start doling it out and whatnot. It's that balance of, okay, we have a system that has generated billionaires, but then you also have immense poverty and struggle. There's something there, and I'm not saying I have the answers. I'm not an economist, just a guy, just a mind, but there's something there that can be tinkered with to kind of, trickle down Reaganomics. No, but there's mixed capitalism. There's ways to kind of not siphon that wealth around, but I just think democratic socialism it wasn't the best way of putting it forth, even though what it is kind of is, makes sense.
Yeah.
Mixed capitalism.
Yeah, it was just so unfortunate how we as a people handled that. But I think that was like one of the eye openers, of just how this shit really runs. Like, being back during the 2016 election, I can't remember how old I was, 20. I literally am thinking, oh, whatever is like best for the people is gonna happen. Like, it's just so naive. So to see a whole party like turn in on itself, on someone who was like so for the fucking people, is sad. And so it's just like, oh, whatever. Okay, fuck even thinking that someone who actually cares or is down the middle could even get that close. They're never gonna get that close. So you're gonna have to you got turd 1 and turd 2.
If you guys want,
which one do you think is cooler? I guess
If you guys want to see the art of it's the South Park, the turd sandwich and
versus
douchebag, yeah. Man, ahead of the ball, ahead of the game early, but God damn, man, you took me out of I was gonna say a point, but that South Park reference just he said turd 1, turd 2.
It's like, who would you rather
with
give the reins to pick your squad to do a heist? You have all these people that you have to fill in, and you have to pick one of these two turds to like build your team. Who you trust in picking people that are gonna successfully pull off the heist?
Fuck, what was I? God damn it! I had something in the fucking chamber, misfired. Fucking it's like what's a dream? Do you guys ever have those dreams where you're trying to run? That's like the classic dream. You're trying to run and you can't run.
Or punch.
There's
That's
that
like
one.
weak.
I'm trying to think of any more recent, because that's like a childhood one. I feel like I've had dreams recently or I feel like there's ones where I'm like waking up for like work or something. Like I have dreams where I wake up and it's like 8 a.m. or something, and I'm like, oh shit. Did that ring a bell for any of you guys? Thing happened like that?
Yeah. Were you
getting at? No, I was just sort of trying to, I'm
this obscure feeling?
That's what.
You ever felt that?
Yeah. Had something.
You had something ready?
It's gone. Yeah, it's gone.
Yeah.
It's gone.
I know that's a terrible analogy, and that's maybe my fault for making it so simple. Because there's only two options. It's like you have to pick one that you trust to make certain decisions, or just
Got it.
completely,
Remember.
just completely not give a fuck about it?
It's funny that turd 1 and turd 2 is what threw me off. Like, because I started thinking of literal turds. Like, we got turd 1.
Because I didn't want to
and
have
turd
this
2.
fucking connotation to the listeners that, you know, I'm out here fucking.
No, I'm not
I'm wearing a, you just can't see because it's a podcast, I'm wearing a red hat. No,
Nah, I'm
both
not,
turds.
I'm not trying to.
One just had Hulk Hogan. Talk, you know, fucking rip off his shit. No, I'm fine.
He also said he didn't want his daughter dating black people, and he didn't say it that nicely.
Which
With
black
his dick
person?
Booker T.
If she was out in the club with O.J. Simpson, valid statement. No, I'm playing.
But what I was gonna say,
I mean, yeah, Joe Biden, same shit.
yeah,
Fucking
yeah, for sure.
savages.
Mhm,
You know, I'll put them back in chains. Like, you know, they're both super racist.
Them back in shit.
But one's like
That's a bar.
I think one's like more real racist. One's like, I want to disparage you economically, and one's like, oh, you're dirty.
Well, no, I was gonna say one thing about Trump. My friend from New York, that's a whole saga. This guy, but he, what was the? I have the power of the internet here, but I don't want to. There was the group
Jamie?
that they called them like the something five, not the Jackson Five, but it was
Yeah.
the group the black teenagers who were falsely accused of rape and they were on trial for, it was like the death penalty or life. Probably
Yeah.
this could use to be fact checked, but for the sake, we're just gonna keep going. But what my friend was telling me was that in the New York newspapers, Trump every single week was taking out a full page ad pushing for their conviction and the death penalty, and they ended up being found innocent. And I remember him bringing that up to me. He was like, damn, I always remembered that about him, like reading the newspaper. And he was like, those dudes were and he took it personally because they was like the same area. He was in New York. It was his time, and they were his age too. Like he
Right.
was 20 in the 90s, and he was like, yo, this could be me. And this dude who has this platform, who has this money to take out these ads, is doing it to put these black men in jail.
Yeah. And that's fucked up. I'd want to know the context. My brain first went to
What they do.
Not what they do. Did you own property like in that area, and you didn't want there's fucking, you wanted to look like you're knocking down and making sure that your building is in a safe area?
Could
I
be.
don't know.
Yeah, posturing,
Maybe it wasn't like these fucking niggers. Maybe it wasn't all that.
Find any way to defend him, huh?
I do the same thing for Joe Biden. I think Joe Biden, when he said that they're savages and he was going to put them back in chains, I think it was because he cares about the African American population, knows that institutionalization can help bring them out of the state that
Maybe-
they're in. So the more you can incarcerate Black Americans, the better.
I didn't know
Fit and off that.
that his wife died in a car accident with his children were also in the car as well back when he was back in the 70s as a junior senator. I didn't know.
Yeah.
And I didn't.
I think Hunter, was he a kid?
He was in the car. He broke like a collarbone, or so he was in the hospital for. That's probably why he has like these drug dependence. They probably were loading him up with opiates as like a 4-year-old
yeah.
in the hospital, some shit. But probably has some
What a
like,
life.
and you honestly
Just
that
cracking
I could
hookers.
just to put on my armchair psychology. That's probably why he is a little off and fucked up, Hunter Biden, because it's like I could. So okay, you have a faint memory of your mother. You never knew your mother. You just have a memory of being in this car accident.
Anything
and
to
she
defend a
died.
national traitor.
That's me. So it's just interesting. I was like, huh, because I didn't even know that happened until I was listening to a clip of Nixon, funny enough, calling Joe Biden and being like, I'm sorry about your. He was probably just drinking a couple whiskeys, as Nixon was an alcoholic. And was
Yeah, I just
known
heard
to make-
bullshit.
Yeah,
Hearing
it's just
Nixon, she's like,
political
what do you
shit.
want? What do you
Yeah.
want, Nixon? Yeah, you're sorry.
Yeah, just crocodile tears. But if you, because this was a point that I lost earlier that I remembered, if you viewers as well, and you guys as well, if you want to rekindle the art of conversation and discourse and the transmission of thoughts. Now, I will say there are also just some, they do come at each other's throats as well. It's not just all, flowers and rainbows, but Gore Vidal and William F. Buckley, if you find their debates on YouTube, there's also a
They make it
documentary.
sound like they name themselves.
They have a documentary also on Netflix that I watched way back in like middle school called The Best of Enemies. And it focuses on their series of debates and just their articles that they would write towards each other. And Their most famous ones were at the 68 DNC. That was broadcasted on CBS, and they just had structured debates, timed rebuttals, and everything, the whole nine. And just fascinating zeitgeist time capsule as well, but just seeing a lost art of conversation. I mean, they're debating, and it gets heated as well, but just to see a different time of conversation, it's nice.
Well, we are on route of bringing that back. I think it's going to be...
Starts with us.
It starts with us. I think it starts with content like this where we're, even though, it's the pilot episode, so I feel like it's like the muscle fibers are starting to activate, you know what I'm saying? Already it feels like there's this, I don't want to use the word safe space, but like there is a space of vulnerability that we're tapping into that I want to continue to exercise. And then I think as time goes on, we're going to see a different world. I think I do believe in collective consciousness. I do believe that like what Jung talks about of all humans being connected to some sort of like mental ether. So if we can continue to think a certain way, we'll be a certain way.
Every time we start getting on some complex thoughts, the deep state just comes in and hits us with the feedback, man.
I want to know who owns Behringer. Oh, shit. All right.
FamilyPSM.com. Check that out first. Then head on over to the source side. Click the little... most people operate on mobile. Kind of want to change up the mobile layout. So it's like so you don't have to click on the menu tab to then go to each of our pieces. I want it to be more like... Because on desktop, you can just click on it at the top. All of our pieces of the site, all of our different pages of the site. But it's like on the mobile, it almost kind of just some focus group testing. I gave someone a card once, and they just later came back and were just like, yeah, it was like kind of... They were kind of like a little... just kind of... They were a bit of a blockhead, so they were just like, yeah, like... It was kind of hard to navigate it, but I was just like, eh, But I kind of understand.
Those 3 lines?
Yeah.
It's like, what were those 3 lines? Like,
but I think
tapped on that and it brought me something that I would consider a chapter. What was that?
But anyway, head there, hit the menu, explore all the sides of the site, then head on over to the source side. Andy.thesource on Instagram.
Yeah, you can find me as well through thefamilypsm.com and at T-Dollaz PSM on Instagram. You can find some work through there. Yeah, check it out.
Big things, Juan. Thank you for joining us. You know what I'm saying? Yo, yeah, thefamilypsm.com. We're going to say it 3 times because it's lucky, okay? Linktree/GondaG. Find all that shit. Beats, videos, all this shit. We got the visual art. We got the writings. We got the visual pieces. We got the audio pieces. Everything is there for your entertainment. Thank you for joining us for another episode. Always remember to goddamn take a sip, take a hit, jack your dick, and rub your clit. Have a good night.
Always remember, this is the early lore right here. These are going to be the deep cuts for the future. Always fucking remember.
Let's go back home. I'm an alien, yeah, my body's a clone. Ayy, let's go.
Up and away above the clouds. That's why I stay. I love it now.
I wasn't down to take information, learn the land.
Can we conquer these aliens?
They call them man, they obsess over things they don't understand, like life and what it all means. But they have the slightest clue of all the things that they can achieve. They have all these needs: sex, drugs, money, power. Sit on their phones for hours, chop down the trees for buildings and towers. Don't realize till their plan is devoured. Don't realize that the earth